Let me ask you something, and answer it honestly. Do you ever feel like time is slipping through your fingers like sand? Here's the reality. The average person lives just 30,000 days. That's it. If you're 45, you've already used up around 16,425 of those days. Gone. Never coming back. But here's what no one tells you, and this might piss you off but will set you free. 99% of people waste most of those precious days living like they have infinite time. But by the end of this video, you'll discover the exact formula, the top 1% used to make every day count. Not time management tips. This is about life mastery. But first, I need to destroy the biggest lie you've been told about time. Yeah, I know that feeling too well. You wake up, go through the motions, check your phone, grab coffee, rush to work. Then suddenly it's evening and you think, where did my day go? Here's what no one tells you. Most people spend their entire lives in what I call time blindness. They're moving fast, but going nowhere. They're busy, but not alive. It's exhausting, right? Like you're on a treadmill that someone else built, running faster and faster, but never actually getting anywhere meaningful. But here's the kicker. Everything you've been told about time is basically backwards. Let me tell you something that shattered my own illusion. I had a friend who worked 70 hours a week. Always said, I'm building my future. But when I asked him if you had to live today 365 more times, would you be happy? His face went white because he realized he wasn't building a future. He was trading his present for some imaginary tomorrow that might never come. That's when it hit me. We've been taught that being busy equals being successful, but busy people often accomplish less than focused people. They're confusing motion with progress. Here's the truth. Your brain measures time by recording new experiences. As a kid, everything was new. Summer felt endless. But as an adult, your routines make days blur together. Same breakfast, same commute, same Netflix shows. Your brain literally skips recording these moments because it's not actually about time management. It's about life management. And that is why it feels so scary when you really think about it. Because deep down, you're not just worried about being late to meetings. You're terrified that you're being late to your own life. Here's the deeper truth. We live in a system designed to steal your time. Every app on your phone is built by teams of psychologists whose only job is to capture your attention. Every social media platform wants you scrolling instead of living. Every company wants you working instead of thinking. It's like being a fish that doesn't know it's swimming in water. The water is designed to make you forget you can choose which direction to swim. Think about this. We constantly overestimate what we can do in a day, but massively underestimate what we can do in a year. This is why people quit goals too soon and why most dreams die in the someday pile. The real tragedy isn't that life is short. The real tragedy is that most people live like they have forever, then panic when they realize they don't. And I'm here to tell you that the 1% who actually feel alive have figured out something the other 99% are missing. I get it. This is a hard truth. It means accepting that maybe you've been sleepwalking through some really important moments. It means admitting that busyness might be your way of avoiding the real question. Am I actually living? But now you're waking up. And that awareness alone is your first step toward freedom. In the next part, we're going to dive into what I call the time mastery formula. The exact strategies that separate the 1% who feel truly alive from the 99% who just exist. Let's get into something that seriously changes everything. The difference between time affluence and time poverty. Most people are time poor even when they have hours available. They fill those hours with busy work, endless scrolling, and tasks that feel important but don't actually matter. Let's shut that lie down right now. Here's the truth. Knowing what not to do is more valuable than knowing what to do. Here's a tool that changed my life. The to-list strategy. Write down everything you want to achieve. Now circle the top 3 items. Everything else? That's your avoid at all costs list. Not your when I have time list, your avoid list. Think about it like this. Imagine your life as a jar. Every day you have rocks, things that truly matter, pebbles, somewhat important stuff, and sand, busy work, distractions. Most people start with sand, then try to fit pebbles, and wonder why there's no room for rocks. But the 1% put rocks first. They ask themselves every morning, if this was my last week on Earth, what would I absolutely have to do today? Here's the trick that eliminates 80% of time waste. Before you do anything, ask, will I care about this in 5 years? If the answer is no, don't do it. Alright, it's time to drag something out into the light. Your phone is probably stealing years of your life. The average person checks their phone 96 times per day. That's once every 10 minutes while awake. Each check breaks your focus for an average of 23 minutes. Do the math. That's most of your day gone to digital distractions. Let's get into something that seriously changes everything. The power of small experiments. Most people think they need massive changes to feel alive. They think they need to quit their job, move countries, or completely reinvent themselves. But here's what the 1% know. Transformation happens through tiny daily experiments. I'll give you a quick example. Last month, I started taking a different route to work every day. Just 5 minutes longer. Sounds pointless, right? But those different routes forced my brain to pay attention. Those 5 minutes started feeling like 20. My days felt longer, richer, more alive. That's the power of novelty. New experiences make time expand. Here's your mission. And it's so simple you might think it's silly. Change one small thing about your routine today. Take a different route. Eat lunch somewhere new. Call someone you haven't talked to in months. Have a conversation with a stranger. Why does this work? Because your brain measures time by the number of new memories it creates. More new experiences equal more perceived time. But here's what's wild. Most people do the opposite. They optimize for efficiency, taking the same routes, eating the same foods, talking to the same people. They're literally making their lives feel shorter. All right, it's time to drag something out into the light. The voice in your head that says, "But I don't have time for this stuff." You know exactly what I mean. The voice that says, "This all sounds nice, but I have bills to pay. I have a boss breathing down my neck. I have kids who need me. I can't just stop and experiment with my life." That voice sounds so reasonable, doesn't it? So responsible, so adult. Here's why this gets us. We've been programmed to believe that caring about our quality of life is selfish, that wanting to feel alive is somehow irresponsible, that if we're not constantly stressed and rushing, we're not being productive citizens. But think about this. Have you ever noticed that people who are always too busy to enjoy life are often the same people who accomplish the least? They're busy, but they're not effective. They're in motion, but they're not making progress. The truth is, when you feel genuinely alive and present, you actually get more done in less time. Your energy is higher, your focus is sharper, your decisions are clearer. So how do we break out? First, stop apologizing for wanting your life to feel good. Stop treating joy like it's a luxury you can't afford. Your aliveness isn't taking away from anyone else's success. Second, understand that this isn't about having more time. It's about being more present in the time you have. Let's get into something super important. How to actually measure whether you're living or just existing. Because here's the thing. Progress in living fully is different from progress in productivity. You can't measure it with to-do lists or achievements. The signs are more subtle but way more meaningful. Here's how you know you're starting to live instead of just exist. You remember your days. When someone asks, "How was your week?" you actually have specific moments to share, not just busy or fine. You start noticing details you never saw before. The way light changes throughout the day, how different foods actually taste when you're not eating while scrolling, the unique expressions people make when they're really listening. You find yourself present in conversations instead of planning what to say next. You realize you're not constantly thinking about somewhere else you need to be. You start feeling grateful for ordinary moments, not just big achievements or special occasions, but Tuesday afternoons, quiet mornings, random conversations with strangers. And here's the biggest sign. You stop constantly checking the time. When you're truly engaged in life, time becomes less of a prison and more of a flow. And spoiler alert, if you're watching this video, if you're even asking these questions, you're already ahead of 99% of people who never examine how they spend their precious days. Okay, now let's pull back the curtain. Because while you've been busy feeling like you're behind in life, like you're not doing enough, like you're wasting time, you've been building something incredible. What you've been building is what I call time consciousness. The awareness that time is your most precious, non-renewable resource. Most people live their entire lives without ever developing this awareness. Let's break down what you already have. You've developed the ability to question how you spend your time. That's not normal. Most people just accept their routines without ever asking, "Is this how I want to spend my life?" You've started to see the difference between being busy and being alive. You've begun to understand that your inner experience matters as much as your outer achievements. You've learned to recognize when you're on autopilot versus when you're actually present. This is a superpower that most people don't even know exists. You've started to value experiences over possessions, moments over milestones, presence over productivity. These aren't just nice ideas. They're fundamental shifts in how you see reality. Most importantly, you've begun to trust that your happiness and aliveness matter. That's not selfish. That's essential. When you're truly alive, you inspire others to come alive too. Conclusion. Time will pass whether you use it wisely or not. The choice is yours. Make it count. And if you've stuck with me this far, I need you to really hear this. The 1% aren't smarter, luckier, or more talented. They just made one simple decision that changed everything. They decided to treat their time like it matters. I know that voice in your head has been saying, "I'll start living when I get the promotion, when I lose weight, when I find the right person, when I have more money, when things calm down." But that voice is lying to you. Because here's what's true. You already have everything you need to start living fully right now. You have this moment. You have this breath. You have the ability to choose where you put your attention. The 1% understand something profound. Your life isn't happening later. It's happening right now, in this moment, as you watch this video, as you breathe, as you think about these ideas. They know that every moment you wait for life to begin is a moment of life you've just spent waiting. They know that the perfect time to start living doesn't exist. There's only now. Here's what you've learned. Time isn't just ticking away. It's your life force flowing by. When you waste time, you're not just being unproductive. You're literally giving away pieces of your existence. You've discovered that being present isn't just a nice idea from meditation apps. It's the secret to making time expand, to feeling truly alive, to actually remembering and enjoying your life. You've learned that small changes create massive transformations, that novelty expands time, that presence beats productivity, that quality of experience matters more than quantity of achievements. That is real power. That is what separates the 1% who feel truly alive from the 99% who just get through each day. And here's the beautiful thing. Every moment you choose presence over autopilot, every time you pick meaning over busy work, every time you decide to actually be here instead of somewhere else in your mind, you're not just improving that moment, you're transforming your entire life experience. So no matter what comes next, no matter how busy things get, no matter what responsibilities you have, remember this: your life is not a dress rehearsal. This is it. This is the real performance. The people who feel truly alive aren't waiting for permission. They're not waiting for the perfect moment. They're not waiting for life to begin. They're choosing moment by moment, day by day to show up fully for their own existence. And that choice, that's available to you right now, today, in this moment. Because the 1% secret isn't complex. It's not about special techniques or hidden knowledge. It's about remembering every single day that your time is your life, and your life deserves to be lived fully. If this video opened your eyes to how you've been living, hit that like button right now. Subscribe and ring the notification bell. Share this video with someone who needs to hear this truth. And let's start a movement of people who choose to live, not just exist. Comment below with one thing you're going to change about your routine this week. I read every single comment, and I'll be cheering you on.